I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good morning. This is Jonathan Small, host and producer of All About You. This program is broadcast every single week at AccessTV.org studios in downtown Hartford. And this show is designed to give a chance to give a guest their life story. This morning, I actually have two successful businessmen that's going to talk a little bit about their life, but we're going to get into their businesses and their future plans for the year of 2015. Actually, the first guest is the general manager of the New Britain Rockcats, Tim Restall. The second guest is the president of DSF Group, which is a real estate investment company to go along with being the owner of the New Britain Rockcats, Josh Solomon. Good morning, both of you. How you doing?
Excellent.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Okay, no problem. Tim, I believe you were born and raised in New Hampshire?
I am originally from New Hampshire and just recently, a couple years ago, relocated to Connecticut.
Is there any similarities between New Hampshire and Connecticut?
You know what? It's a little warmer down here, which is hard to believe, especially with the week we've had. But, you know, all the seasons are the same, and you know, it's enjoying the landscape down here.
Do you reside in Connecticut? Or
I do.
You
I do. I have a place in New Britain right now, and looking forward to relocating to the Hartford area.
Okay, what actually brought you to Connecticut?
Actually, for the team, I've worked in minor league baseball for 14 years, and 2 years ago got the chance to come down here and become the general manager for the Rockcats.
So you enjoy your job?
I love my job.
I love your job. Okay, we're going to get back to your role a little bit later in the show. You were born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts, Josh Solomon. Good morning.
Correct. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. What was it like growing up in a major city like Boston?
You know, Boston's a great city, and I enjoyed it. I had pretty typical upbringing, so it was good.
Well, did you like any particular professional sports teams up there?
I liked all of them.
Okay.
You know, but when I was growing up, the teams weren't nearly as successful as they are today. So the only team that was strong when I was a kid was the Celtics. And so, you know, the big three that I know is McCauley, Bird, and Parrish.
Yeah.
You know, not the guys who recently won a championship. So
kind of rivalry. I'm a Lakers fan, so I remember those 80 days when Magic, Kareem used to go up against that big three.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan, so I remember the rivalries. 83, 85, and 87 in the NBA championship stood out to me a lot.
No, you got it. That was a great rivalry with just great characters and such different teams. But you know, that's what, to me, professional sports is about. That kind of rivalry and competition. It's great.
Right. What kind of driven you into the real estate field growing up in Boston? Was that something that you always wanted to get involved in real estate?
No, I didn't know necessarily what I wanted to do. I think I got exposed to it at a pretty early age. And then I think I in getting exposed to it, I saw that it was a career that would provide me the opportunity to actually create some things that would outlive me and could really impact people's lives and change neighborhoods and seem like it was a career that could be both financially rewarding as well as provide the opportunity to really be creative and do some unique stuff. And it's done that.
Was this like a family business before we known that it was a family business?
No. It wasn't a family business. I'd say about 15 years ago, I set up a business with my father and one other partner. So we kind of built a business together.
Now you have a pretty impressive portfolio. I mean, I heard number $1.6 billion in commercial development.
We've done about $2.5 billion.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it's only a number.
It's only a number.
And so I think we're proud of the stuff that we have created. From Boston down to Washington, D.C. is really where our portfolio resides.
Now, you've also worked in different parts of the country. Could you kind of let people know exactly where you worked at?
Sure. I worked in New York City
Mm-hmm.
for a while. I spent a few years as a lender out in Southern California. Worked for a pension fund advisory firm in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have traversed the country.
Okay. Tim, what did you actually do when I guess you graduated college? What was your first move?
So I used to work in the amusement park business. Up in New Hampshire, there's an amusement park called Canopy Lake Park, very similar to lake compounds. And I had worked there through high school, through college. And then when I was done, I came on full time and decided that, amusement park was a good business, customer service, food service, all the things that I enjoyed doing. And then I ended up getting into baseball. And I went to work in Michigan for 4 years for the West Michigan Whitecaps, running their food and beverage opportunity. And originally from Manchester, back in 2004, they announced that a team was going to relocate there. So I was able to go back to New England and run the food service operation at the team.
That was something sort of different than actually being a general manager, which you currently are now.
Yeah, so I had worked in many different aspects of the ballpark, from business to sales, with helping out with merchandise, and then which all the tools to be a general manager 2 years ago, I was able to step into that role.
Now, as a general manager in minor league baseball, you mentioned this is different than professional sports.
Correct. Typically in sports, a general manager has a say in what goes on with the field, with the players. And then in affiliate baseball, which we're a AA franchise to the Colorado Rockies. So the Colorado Rockies take control of all the player development on the field. We're more general managers, more of a business manager. So making sure the place is clean, that, we sell tickets, advertising, food and beverage, merchandise, stadium operation, marketing, overseeing the business side of the baseball.
Is this a full-time job? Because even though minor league baseball is only played, 4 to 6 months, is your job considered a full-time job?
Yes, it's 12 months out of the year. So at the end of the season, we are planning for opening day. So everything that we're doing now is for our opening day in April.
When did you first get hired as the general manager of the New Britain Rockets?
It was May of 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you're still kind of new with the organization, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, the team I worked for prior was in the same league, so I knew a lot of the staff and knew the area. But I've been with the team now for 2 years.
Okay. And I guess you're going to play kind of a key role with this new plans to bring the stadium to downtown North in Hartford.
Absolutely. Looking forward to working with the community, working with the business owners, the whole market with, creating a new team, introducing the ballpark and all the fun things that come around it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll come back to you later on when we get into the direct involvement of the stadium plans and then see what your role is directly. Josh, you've said you were involved in many different businesses in real estate. Could you kind of give a little list of some of the businesses that you have been involved with?
Sure. Real estate has really been my main focus, but we have invested in a whole host of other kinds of businesses, whether it be oil and gas or restaurants. But the main focus is really real estate.
Josh, what is the key what is the key into being a successful real estate or realtor or businessman? Do you have to just have a lot of money, business smarts? What does it kind of takes to be successful in this field of work?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. No, I think like any career, I think hard work, persistence, treating people the right way, having a vision and understanding where you want to go, laying out a path, and then doing the things and to get there. So really hard work, a little bit of luck. A lot of money doesn't hurt in the real estate business. But I think it's I think like most things, it's hard work and determination, kind of 90% perspiration, 10% inspiration.
Oh, okay. All right. Where's directly your headquarters are located at for your company?
We're headquartered just outside of Boston. We have as well as an office in Washington, D.C.
Okay. Do you spend a lot of time in both locations?
I do. I travel quite a bit both seeing our properties as well as looking for potential new opportunities for us to both acquire existing assets as well as develop new product.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of led you into purchasing the New Britain Rockcats, a baseball team?
Well, I think my father owns a team in New Hampshire, and watching the joy that he got from it piqued my interest. And then my siblings and I are all big baseball fans, and also kind of had become a little disenfranchised with Major League Baseball and really professional sports for that matter. It had become so expensive. It had the whole interaction with the players had gotten you can't even get near them for kids to have autographs. It's not a very approachable game, and it's really become an industry that is driven just from corporations and not really the everyday fans.
Mm-hmm.
So my siblings and I were fortunate enough to be able to go into business together and buy this team.
Okay. But excuse me, before you bought this minor league baseball team, did you have any interests in major league professional sports team?
Nope.
Never crossed your mind?
Nope.
Okay, so just the minor league. When did you first purchase, or your family first purchased, this minor league baseball team?
We bought the team 3 years ago.
Okay. Was that an easy, was that an easy business deal to make? Did it take some time to put the whole deal together?
I mean, it was like most business deals. It died a couple of times first, but then it went fairly rapidly.
Mm-hmm. You bought the team, and the team was bought in New Britain?
Yes.
Okay. Did you also purchase the stadium in New Britain?
No. Stadium is owned by the city of New Britain.
Okay. So what was it like now having the baseball team in New Britain that you've been owning over the past few years? What has it been like in New Britain?
It has been, I've enjoyed it. I think we've had some real positives in that I think we've done quite a bit in terms of giving back to the community,
mm-hmm.
And really creating a fun environment for our fans. But I think the opportunity to be in a much larger market and have a brand new state-of-the-art ballpark was pretty exciting for us.
Okay. What was some of the things that you mentioned that you have been able to give back to the community when you say give back to the community?
Sure. Whether it be churches or hospitals or any really community groups, we have been very involved in both donating actual money as well as tickets,
mm-hmm.
As well as setting up kind of programs where if kids read a certain number of books, they get tickets to the ball game. I've really been able to kind of provide an opportunity and an incentive for the youth in that area to, whether it be work hard at school or attendance or read extra books, as I had mentioned, and be able to provide some sort of rewards that for kids actually mean something.
That all sounds very encouraging to know that, as an owner of a minor league baseball team, that there's a side of giving back to the fans and to the community that you're a part of. A
big part, really, an important part that is really the main reason why we're in the business.
Another important decision you have to make also is to hire a general manager, like you hired Tim.
You got it. Okay. Absolutely. Very important.
What made you decide to hire Tim as your general manager?
I think Tim is not only a good guy, but he's very bright. He understands the big picture. He communicates well. He leads our staff very well. And I think he's just a bright guy who really understands the business,
mm-hmm.
And really gets the idea of how important the fan experience is at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know my team, the Cowboys, Jerry Jones is the owner, president, and general manager. You are just the owner of the baseball team. Are you the president also?
No, I'm not. now you have two strikes against
Okay,
you, right?
that's it.
So as a Laker fan and a Cowboy fan, I mean, we may have to end this interview.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're Canadians fan, this is
Yeah,
gonna be
right.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot Boston. So
Yeah,
gotta be
boy.
the Patriots. Okay.
So no, I don't have anything to do with the day-to-day operations of the team.
Okay. So again, Tim, your role is the general manager. You mentioned it's a full-time job, so you do a lot of work.
Might be two jobs, actually.
Two jobs, actually.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of work that you have to do during the off season as well as during the season to go along with your job.
Yeah, I mean, we're meeting with community partners. We're meeting with advertisers. We're meeting with community groups. Everything about for the upcoming season. It's hard to believe that we'll be playing baseball. Less than 90 days away. So opening day comes very quickly.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads right up into our first break, and we're going to come right back and now get into this whole proposal planning of downtown North. We're bringing the stadium to the downtown North section of the capital city here in Hartford. And I'm enjoying this interview with both of you this morning. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is Jonathan Small. I'm enjoying hosting All About You this morning with my two guests, actually, the general manager of the New Britain Rockcats, Tim Restall, and owner of the New Britain Rockcats, Josh Solomon. And we're going to come right back very shortly. Thank you.
Diamond Ruff is a brilliant con man whose childhood was robbed by violence. Diamond plans the crime of a lifetime. Diamond's well-crafted plan ends in tragedy. Is this the end for Diamond? Does a modern-day Martin Luther King Jr. hold the key to Diamond's overcoming life's challenges and himself?
Serious injuries require aggressive lawyers. If you're injured, call me. Attorney Jeffrey Dressler, 24/7, 11/22.
Hi, and welcome to AccessTV.org. I'm your host from Shaping the Next Generation, Naima Jackson. Welcome to AccessTV.org. We're your hosts, Naima Jackson.
And I'm Elijah Williams.
Thank you for tuning in to Shaping the Next Generation. Today's special guest is Ms. Vicki Gallen-Clark.
Ms. Vicki will stop by on the show to talk about her role in the Blue Hill Civic.
Now, if you haven't heard about Blue Hill Civic Association, you should definitely look into it. It's located on Asylum. Now, if you don't know anything about Blue Hills, you should know that Blue Hill Civic Association, they will definitely help you get a step forward in your future. They'll help you figure out what you want to be in the future, because they definitely helped me. I figured out what I want my career to be. I figured out what college I want to go to, and I figured out what I want to major in. Blue Hills helped me because they helped me learn how to write a resume, a cover letter. They prepared me for an interview to get a job. Blue Hill Civic Association is definitely the perfect program for our youth today. Now, thank you for joining us on AccessTV.org. I like AccessTV.org because they offer us highlights on our local community that you don't get from Channel 3 or Fox News. They also gave us highlights from sports like track and field. So thank you so much for joining us. And all the youth out there, you should definitely join us at Access TV and definitely check out Blue Hill Civic Association, because it will help you, it will motivate you to get out there, look into our programs, and it will help you shape your future.
Again, this is Jonathan Small. I'm hosting All About You this morning with my two guests, the general manager of the New Britain Rockcats, Tim Restall, and the owner of the New Britain Rockcats, Josh Solomon. We're going to continue with part two of this particular topic or this particular show. Tim, you mentioned towards the end of the first part that your job is the general manager. Josh, you're clearly the owner of the New Britain Rockcats. And we've had, over the past year or so, a lot of discussions about the New Britain Rockcats moving into an area called downtown north of the capital city here in Hartford. First of all, how did this decision come about for you to decide that you would like to move your baseball team to downtown north?
Sure. I think we had the first season that we had owned the team. There were some issues related to the field and kind of parking, what have you, and a number of issues that we looked to resolve and were unsuccessful in being able to do that. And with that, we then had our 20-year lease coming due. So we reached out to the city of Hartford to see if there was interest in helping put together a ballpark deal.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you filled your obligations for the 20-year lease. So you didn't break out of your lease.
Absolutely not. We've completed. This will be the last year in a 20-year lease with the city of New Britain.
So you have particularly every right if you decide that you want to take your baseball team and move someplace else. That's your own decision, and people shouldn't look at it as you turning your back on New Britain or doing something, you know, that people in New Britain feels wasn't a good move to do. Because I mean, people don't understand that this is a business that you're still running. It's not just all fun and games.
Correct. And I think, you know, we fulfilled all of the obligations of our lease. And it just made sense for us with some of the issues there for us to look elsewhere after we completed the full duration of our lease. And it is only about 12 miles down the road. Mm-hmm. You know, we have had great fans ever since the Rockettes came to New Britain. There's tremendous support, and we look forward to seeing them at brand new state-of-the-art ballpark in the capital city.
Josh, what made you decide to bring your team to downtown North in the capital city of Hartford?
Well, I think there's a number of things that led us here. I think first of all, the location of the ballpark in downtown North is an area that had been neglected for a very long time, and it is at the junction of two significant highways, 84 and 91. And there really was an opportunity to create something special in a neighborhood that had been neglected. So we love the opportunity to provide jobs for folks in the north side, as well as really be a catalyst for growth. So us moving our successful business into an area that had been neglected, we felt like that would really provide a spark to the city, and more specifically, a spark to the north side.
And this is also part of a coalition with other development projects to go along with the baseball team and the stadium. So it's not just the New Britain Rockettes and the stadium alone.
Correct. There will be apartments built, a supermarket, and a number of other things that are going to be developed around the ballpark. Not by us, but by another developer.
When will the actual construction get started of the stadium?
We will have a groundbreaking in February, so
okay.
next month.
I'm going to get to Tim now. Tim, you're the general manager. So what are you currently involved with right now, getting everything set up for the groundbreaking?
So we're starting to, you know, lay out our schedule, our plan of how we're going to roll things out. Starting to look at, look down the line of what's going to be coming up, and starting to plan things, whether it's the name of the team contest to, start looking at items that are going to go in the ballpark. That's the focus that we're looking at right now.
How do you feel about the stadium being in the area of downtown North that he mentioned and I can see has been neglected? Is this somewhat of a risk that you look at this area?
I think it's going to be a great thing. I mean, especially a ballpark we view as a community center, and especially going where it's going to in the corner of 84 91 in downtown North. We think it's going to be a great asset to the residents of Hartford.
What would be the average ticket price for a baseball game?
So there's minor league baseball is very family entertainment. So we're going to have tickets are going to start at $6, and the same they are in New Britain. And we haven't had a chance to look at our ticket yet pricing, but we'll make sure that it's very family affordable.
What's going to be the capacity size of the stadium?
I think we're going to have roughly about 6,500 seats. And probably with all the areas and such, will be close to about 9,000 people will be able to hold.
What's going to be the cost of the stadium?
And Josh might be able to speak better a little about that with regard to.
I think the total cost of the development is $56 million.
Okay. What type of stadium is this going to look like when this gets completed? If you have any ideas? Or
absolutely. It's fully designed at this point. It is going to be state of the art. So not very similar to what we had in New Britain, much more like kind of more community areas for people to hang out. We're going to have a fun kind of bars. We'll have a fun area for kids to play in. A whole host of other amenities, such as a climbing wall, and great foods from not just kind of American fare, but we'll have, we're going to have beef patties from Scott's Bakery. We're going to have some other foods that, from Park Street, vendors from there. So it really has a feel of Hartford, not just your standard hot dog and a beer, although you will be able to get a hot dog and a beer.
Right. Will the stadium be open, from beyond April and October?
Absolutely. We look to have events the entire year. So in addition to that, we will have an after-school program for kids. So that will take place during the off season, as well as there's a 7,000 square foot luxury club on the second level that will have on one side great views of the city, on the other great views of the ballpark that people can rent out. We can have parties in, have events in, which is something that really the city needed, a very a quality location where people could have parties or groups anywhere from 50 people to 600 people.
Do you think most of the community and the legislators are on board with this project, that they feel confident and good about this project?
I do. I think they are. We have been approved by City Council. We just passed planning and zoning. And I think people are very, very excited about it. I think at first they weren't sure. And then when we were able to get a chance to really explain the benefits that would accrue to the community, I think people really got on board and are very excited about it.
What's going to be the long-term lease agreement for this stadium that you're going to have in downtown North?
Sure. A 25-year lease we have. So we'll be there for 25 years.
Okay. That sounds very good to know.
Yep.
25 years.
You got it.
All right. Are the two of you working together trying to get everything set up for the grand opening right now, or do you have to work kind of your direction and his direction? What's the whole process like?
I think we both do some of our own things and have some of our own responsibilities, but we also work closely together to ensure that both, the quality of the ballpark as well as the quality of the fan experience, that we get everything in order. For the opening in April of 2016.
Now, what about the other development that's also being planned for downtown North? You don't have anything really to do with the retail and the commercial development beyond just the stadium. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We are just we'll just be the tenant in the ballpark.
But do you feel that you kind of need everything together to have this successful downtown North, that you are an important part of the puzzle and everything else is kind of the puzzles coming together?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're the critical piece to it. And I think because of that, it becomes a feasible area for real development, whether it be for apartments or retail. And so I think it's all important pieces of the pie.
Now, I heard a legislator mention that the stadium that they built, I guess, down in Washington, D.C., where the Washington Nationals play at, that was also built in the southeast section of Washington, D.C., kind of similar of an urban area directly. And from what I understand, a lot of the residents in that area was actually hired on that particular project. Is that something which could be kind of similar to this project here?
Absolutely. I think clearly the contractor will be hiring folks from the city of Hartford, as well as we will be hiring folks from the city of Hartford. We should be hiring at least 50% of our employees will be Hartford residents.
Now, for the stadium, we're talking about part-time jobs or full-time jobs or seasonal jobs?
Both.
Both?
Yep.
Okay. And this is going to be a project that, again, is going to be at least 25 years. Hopefully we'll have it, for longer than that.
You got it.
And there's a lot maybe that people don't realize that it takes to have a successful baseball team. Tim, could you kind of share what does it really requires to make sure that the team is really successful?
So a lot of we put a big focus on our customer service. So working with the fans, working with the sponsors, working with the community is a big part of our organization. So being able to, talk to people, be able to listen to what their needs are, be able to, if something's wrong, fix it, whether the hot dog's cold or whether the seat needs to get wiped down or whatever the case it is. Customer service is a big part of our business.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's very important for the local businesses to be a part of it and feel like it's their team and their park. Because it really is. It should be a place where they not only are able to go out and enjoy a time at the ballpark, but it might be where something that they could give their employees, so their employees may not leave right after work, but a good place of entertainment for them, as well as something where they can entertain their customers. And the last piece that I think makes it is a little unique about minor league baseball, and I think really is critical to our success, is the integration of community programs with our sponsors. So finding the corporate community is always looking for ways to give back. I think we often work as a conduit to the community in doing that. So we will consistently be working with folks, not just in the downtown north area, but all over the city of Hartford to see what's needed and try to help fill that gap.
Well, Josh, this is a $350 million overall development project. In the business world, is that a big amount of money for a particular area, like which is coming to downtown north?
Oh, I think it's huge in any area.
Okay.
That's a massive development. And it really speaks volumes about, what the city is doing to really grow its grand list from a tax standpoint. As well as really, I think Hartford has its best years ahead of it because of things like this. City's been very active in terms of both getting multifamily as well as a whole host of other things going on down the city. So we're just really excited to be part of the renaissance that's going on here in Hartford.
Oh, okay. That's very encouraging to know. Have you been involved, I guess, beyond just the New Britain area of any other minor league baseball teams?
Nope.
Okay,
that's it.
But I know you've mentioned, Tim, that you worked for some other minor league baseball teams.
Yeah, I worked in West Michigan for 4 years, and then I also worked in New Hampshire for 10 years. So
now, have you seen a lot that these minor league baseball teams do for the overall community that the stadium and the team is located at?
Absolutely. In New Hampshire, I was there, again, originally from New Hampshire. I saw the market before the team was there and then was part of it afterwards. So seeing what it gives back to the community, what it gives back to the local people that are attending the ballpark and involved in it has been a great thing.
So that means it's a proven track record that you have been part of with minor league baseball team to go along with yourself. That kind of speaks volumes that this is something that could be real instrumental for this particular area. The one downside that many people may say on the outside is that why should the city be paying tax dollars for a stadium when there's other needs that needs to be addressed towards? So people might look at you and say, why can't you just take your own money and buy the stadium? Build a stadium.
Sure. No, I think there are clearly a lot of needs for the city. There are a lot of needs for every city. Does that mean that that a ballpark is an important one? No, it really is. And if you look at all of the great cities in our country, sports is a very big part of it, and entertainment is a very big part of it, so that you get people who actually want to live here. And so I think it's really critical to have institutions like sports teams. It is proven kind of in the major metropolitan areas that is really a key draw. And the fact is that the citizens of Hartford deserve their own team. And deserve kind of having professional baseball, since Hartford was one of the founding cities in baseball for this country.
Well, I guess again, there's nothing wrong with that. And even though the city does have other needs, it's not saying this is going to solve all of the issues and the needs of the city. Because I think people don't want to get this misconception that this is going to be the fix to everything that the city needs.
Correct. It's one piece of the pie, and I think it's one of the important pieces of the pie. And I think showing that a successful business will get up and move to the city of Hartford kind of speaks volumes about where the city's going, and should be a catalyst for a lot of other businesses wanting to move downtown into the city of Hartford. So no, clearly the city still has issues that they need to resolve, but I think this is a good step in moving in the right direction for the city.
And you agree with that whole statement that, you know, you understand the city does have other issues that it has to be dealt with, but this is a very important piece of the puzzle. I mean, that's how you look at it.
Oh, absolutely. You know what, minor league baseball, you know, it's not the fix all, but it adds a lot to the area and the community that it's going into.
The time period of the completion of the stadium is going to be how long is it going to take to get the stadium constructed?
It should open up in April of 2016.
Okay, so there's a 2-year period of the construction.
I'd say about
1 year, actually.
Yeah, like 13 months.
13 months. Okay, so that's not that long.
No, it's quick. Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Do y'all have any other plans now beyond just working with the stadium going into the new year of 2015?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll continue. We have a whole nother season in New Britain, and we'll continue to kind of operate the team. And we have a lot of fun things planned for this year out in New Britain. And then there's a tremendous amount of planning that goes on for the 2016 season. We're just starting to really meet with a lot of the corporate community in the city of Hartford, who have been very supportive and very excited to get involved with the new team.
And there's also they're going to be with the grand opening. They're going to be a press conference from that.
There will be many press conferences. To come.
Tim, give you one last words. Do you have anything that you would like for people to know about yourself or about, you know, your role as a general manager that they may not be aware of?
You know, like I mentioned, it's about customer service, so it's taking care of the guest. And that's just a big part of us and a big part of my job. So looking forward to opening day in April of 2016.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question. Anything that you would like for people to know about yourself or your job that they are not aware of that you know?
No, I think you covered it. We're simply excited to be moving to the city of Hartford and look forward to a very long partnership with the city.
All right, that sounds very encouraging to hear, and I enjoyed having both of you on my show this morning. And keep up the good work for the year 2015. Okay, this was Jonathan Small. I had enjoyed hosting All About You this morning with my two guests, the general manager of the New Britain Rockcats, Tim Restall, and the owner of the New Britain Rockcats, Josh Solomon. And as I say, there's a lot of interesting Dynamite programs that you could always look at on accesstv.org network throughout the week. This program actually was a day before my usual day, so don't get fooled by Tuesday. My program is usually broadcast every Wednesday. But again, as I say every single week, the people out there, have a very blessed day and keep the faith. Thank you.